Good day, folks. We are on a very normal flight in South California from San Diego to our way to Las Vegas. But we want to trigger something, say, very unlikely and unfortunate event to this normal flight, which is having both engine failed. So in the PMDG 737 we go to the actions menu, aircraft failures, and we can program the failure of both engines in this way. We go to engine 1 severe damage, program a 30-second trigger like this, hit the execute button and the time is starting for engine number 1. Same thing for engine number 2, 30 seconds. We trigger the engine failure and just wait for this terrifying event to happen. And here we are, engine 1 failed, and soon after engine 1 it should happen to engine 2 as well. Here we are. So basically now we are on a gliding airliner, and we can set the engine start to flight mode to attempt to start, and the APU, first thing to do is to start the APU to have all of our glass cockpit instruments up and running, and pitch up to keep our energy as high as possible. And we have to select very quickly our alternate airport, and we can check if our planned alternate airport can be reachable, is in range. So what's the basic calculation to do? So we have to check the optimum gliding speed. We can go to the cruise page. Here we are, and we can see that 236 is the target speed for the best gliding, and we can target this this speed, and we will we can check our APU if it's still not running. So I was saying that the target speed will be maintained via the vertical speed. Let's pitch up and keep the airplane leveled. Okay, set the range and see what's your what's our alternate. Our alternate airport is Palm Spring International. Let's start the APU. Well, we have our instrument ready. Okay, let's pitch up to maintain energy, and we can activate the autopilot as soon as possible to lower the workload for the pilot. In the real world, there would be 2 pilots, so the co-pilot will help the pilot flying, but in this case I'm alone, so I need to use the autopilot as much as possible. And we can try to set our alternate flight plan. So this the PMDG doesn't have the secondary flight plan, so let's maintain let's check in the perf init Um, so okay, so now our starting altitude is more or less 24,000 feet at 230 knots, which means we have more or less 20 minutes of range at this descent rate, which is more or less 1100 from 1100 to 1200 feet per minute. So we have to set up a secondary and alternate flight plan to Palm Spring International, and the distance we can see it's feasible because it's less than 40 miles. You can see we are trying to maintain our target speed of 230 knots, and with the vertical speed mode activated in the autopilot, we can help ourselves with the green banana. We can see that at this descent speed, we are pretty much safe to land at Palm Spring International. So we can keep to maintain our vertical speed in such a way that we that our target speed is constant, is steady, and I remember that this is the best gliding speed in case of engine out. Let's see in the maps our alternate. This is wrong because I don't know why I had Geneva. Anyway, departure is correct, arrival is correct, the alternate is not correct. Okay, we will insert it manually. Maybe we have to manually dial in Palm Spring International. Is going to be Kilo Papa Sierra Papa, I believe. Yes, it is. Okay, and we have to check for the runway available. 31 left or 13 right, and I believe with the wind conditions in place here today, we are going to use the, I think would be the 31 left. Let's make our check in the overhead panel. So okay, yaw damper should be on and everything else is okay. Okay, we still have some warnings, but it's normal in those conditions. This is the map of the airport, and the altitude, final altitude is going to be 450 set. Let's set our landing lights to on, runway turn off light, taxi lights, engine start flight mode, and everything is happening very quickly. But we saw that we have enough range to glide this aircraft. The best gliding speed depends on the loading conditions. It depends on many factors, so we rely on the numbers that is in the FMC. So I recall 230 knots. Let's stay in the visual range. If we can see outside, it's better to see where obstacles can be, and we also activated the terrain radar to see yes, where the mountain peaks are. And first of all, we have to stay in the plains as much as possible. So let's see on the Navigraph charts. The runway in use at Palm Spring International, yes, correct, should be information runways. So okay, 31 right, it's not that one, it's the bigger one is 31 left. So 31, not 31 right, 31 left. Okay, 31 left. And we have to maintain our energy the highest as possible. So it's not advisable to descend faster than what our target speed is requiring. Just in case we are too high, we are going to make some circling around the airport, and if the rain gives us the possibility to make some circles, some holding patterns until we can dissipate our altitude, our energy. This is the airport. We are pretty much high, so we can dissipate the energy by making some holding patterns around the airport if the rain makes this possible, and then we can plan our final gliding when we are pretty much low, but still we have to keep some margin, so stay the highest as possible. Our speed is okay. We can set for reference in the MCP 300 feet per minute. All is okay. The plane is very silent, and we can set our target altitude just for reference. We can set a 7,000 feet initial, and then by setting the alternate flight plan, we will set our the other altitude constriction we may have later. Okay, 31 left is the selected runway for landing. Let's set something lower, say 5,000. And we can go past the airport while gliding, and then make commence to make some circling to dissipate our altitude. And eventually we will help, the green banana will help us to understand which is the final altitude to be reached. So let's set the manually, let's set the alternate flight plan, which is simply Palm Spring to Palm Spring, just to have an arrival reference. We will set runway 31 left, and also we can select the AirNav Yankee for runway 31 left. just to have a flight plan reference. Activate execute. So we can have our constrained altitude, so 4,000 or above. We can use this as our next altitude constraint. Let's continue to circle. We are still high, and we have to continuously change our vertical speed to maintain our target speed. Okay. All the gliding will be without flaps, without landing gear, without speed brakes, because all this stuff will be used at the very final stage to slow down the aircraft when on very short final. But prior to this phase, we must keep the plane the cleanest as possible to lose very few energy in our descent. I will continue to circle the aircraft. Visibility is so good that it is very helpful to us because we can stay visual. If we were in IMC, it would be a lot tougher, and we would rely on our instrumentation only. To set 4,000 or next altitude. Let's give the execute to have the magenta line available. Local QNH's set is 30.04 inches of mercury. No obstacles ahead. And we have to patiently wait until we are in the range with the airport. I repeat, it's not convenient to pitch the nose down to reach the final altitude, because in this way we would gain too much speed, and then it would be difficult to slow down the aircraft on the final approach to the runway. If we were to land on a grass or on a field, we would not use the landing gear. It would be better. It would be a belly landing, because you would have a soft terrain and the landing gear would not help in that case. In this case, we have a very long runway, so no problem going with the landing gear deployed. We continue to tweak the our MCP to stay in the, say, in the holding. Okay, now let's try to forecast our final altitude, which is 500 feet. More or less the runway is 500 feet, so let's try to increase our vertical speed just because we are now close to the airport, and to spoil some energy. Now we can do it because we are pretty much close. So 500 we are more or less in range, so we can go with the spoilers. Now we can use the spoilers and we can deploy our landing gear, and soon we will disengage the autopilot. So landing gear down 3 green. The runway is clearly in sight. Autopilot comes off. And now we will pay attention to maintain our target speed in the clean configuration until in the final stage we can also deploy our flaps and our speed brakes. I think now we can start deploying flaps.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Okay.
Too low, terrain.
Short
Too
final.
low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
We are
Too
a
low,
bit
terrain.
fast.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate.
Let's
Sink rate.
adjust with the pitch.
Sink
3-1 left, landing.
Sink rate. Sink rate. 30. 10.
And now let's put our wheel brakes on fire. Wow. Good job. Flaps up. And now all we gotta do is to wait for the rescuers to come. Good. We did it. Okay folks, thanks for following, thanks for watching as usual, and see you all to the next one. Bye bye.